Hey, what happened with Miss Drysdale?
Well, I come around the side of the house, and I see this here lady fighting with a furry-looking varmint.
Turned out it was Miss Drysdale.
No, Uncle Jed, it was a fox.
The lady was Miss Drysdale.
Oh, yeah. So I grabs up the shotgun, and I says, step aside, lady, and I'll shoot it. Well, instead of that, she whipped around and throwed that thing in the air. Well, I shot it on the fly with both barrels.
Blew my wife's fox fur to shreds.
I wonder if you fainted dead away.
I caught her just in time. The chauffeur had to help me get her into the car. She was out like a light.
She was stewed to the gills. You said it took 2 men to get her back in the car.
You know, Jethro, could be that there fox was Miss Drysdale's pet.
Why in tarnation would she want a sneaky old fox for a pet?
'Cause them kind of people are liable to do anything.
What kind of people?
Ask your pa.
Well, I reckon I can't protect you from the ugly side of life forever. You see, Miss Drysdale is what city folks calls what was their husband called it, Granny?
Hypochondriac.
Yeah, that means she drinks a little.
Well, let's be thankful for one thing, Mr. Drysdale.
What's that?
The tree outside the window. It completely obscures her view of the Clampett estate.
Yes. And if that tree should ever lose its leaves and she gets one look at those hillbillies...
It shall not happen. The Clampetts have agreed to accompany me to Palm Springs.
Fine, fine. Now, you keep them there until I get Margaret back to Boston.
Can do and will do.
Maybe it's for the best that you know about that poor woman next door, Ellie. Now you can pitch in and help us get her cured.
Yep. I'll need you to help find the makings from a sobering up mash. That's what I'll give her first.
But Miss Jane said she was taking us to Palm Springs.
Folks don't run off and leave the neighbors when he's in trouble. What all you gonna need for your sobering up mash, Granny?
Well, most of the stuff I got. But it takes pecan root, wretchweed, sourdough, skunk oil, chimney soot, spider webs, horsebeard, snake wort, pepper leaves, chicken gizzards, stump water, coal oil, slippery elm ooze, and turpentine, and a few more things that's secret. Oh, and the biggest toad you can find.
Granny, you use a live toad?
That's just for testing. I give it a swaller to see how far it jumps.
Last time Granny used a sobering up mash, set a new record. Clean over the top of Alverny Bradshaw's clothesline.
That's tall jumping for a toad.
Oh, this wasn't no toad. This was Alverny's husband, Homer. It was him Granny was sobering up. Wellie, if you're going out in the brush hunting stuff for Granny, you'd best put on some old clothes.
Okay, Pop.
Well, let's get it going. Oh, I pert near forgot. I have to have some goat's milk. After Mrs. Drysdale takes my sobering up mash, she has to have fresh goat's milk every half hour to stop the burning.
Well, I reckon Jethro can borrow some. Well-to-do neighborhood like this, folks is bound to keep goats.
Everybody except us. We ain't even got a cow.
Nor pigs neither.
Nor chickens.
We ain't even got nothing to pull a plow.
You're supposed to be so dad blame rich. I'll bet we're the only family in Beverly Hills that ain't got a mule.
I reckon it is high time I was stocking this place. Even Mr. Drysdale's been after me to buy some cattle.
Well, good for him.
Yeah, just the other day he says to me, Mr. Clampett, you got $25 million in cash. You ought to put some of that money into stock.
Well, we better get busy now if we're gonna find...
There goes that music again. Jethro, did you ever find out where that's coming from?
No, sir, I didn't. Every time I went to looking for it, somebody always come to the door. This time I'm gonna find it for sure.
Yeah, good hunting. Me and Granny will be figuring out what stock to buy.
Doggone it, never failed. Howdy, Miss Hathaway.
Oh, please stop calling me Miss Hathaway. Now, if I can call you by your first name, Jethro, surely you can do the same for me.
But,
Please?
well, howdy, Miss Jethro.
How about calling me Jane?
I like that better.
Well, are we all set to leave for Palm Springs?
No, ma'am. Uncle Jed and me's going to town and buy some stock.
Stock?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Drysdale, he told Uncle Jed he had ought to put some of his money into stock.
He dictated a memo on that. But you needn't waste time driving into town. You can order your stock by telephone. Now, here are Mr. Drysdale's recommendations. He doesn't want your Uncle Jed to get a bum steer.
Oh, Uncle Jed, he wouldn't buy no bum steer.
They should be cautious in the bull market.
You gotta be careful with cows, too.
I don't need this list nohow. Me and Granny's already figured out what we want.
That's right. A pair of goats, 3 pigs, 4 cows, a bull, a mule, and a dozen chickens.
Reckon we can get all that on the truck?
Don't have to. Miss Hathaway says just call on the telephone and they bring them out.
Oh, now, ain't that nice? Hello?
Jed, I watched that banker feller. You have to stick your finger in them holes and spin her a while.
All right. Reckon that ought to do it.
Operator.
Oh, howdy, ma'am. This here is Jed Clampett. I'd like to buy some stock.
What number do you wish?
Number? Oh, a couple of goats, 3 pigs, 4 cows, a bull, a mule, and a dozen chickens.
I'll give you information.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate all the information you can give me. It's the first time I ever bought stock on the telephone.
Perhaps I'd better connect you with the supervisor.
2 heads is better than 1.
Supervisor speaking. May I help you?
Well, thank you, ma'am. This here is Jed Clampett. I'd like to buy some stock.
Do you know the number you wish to reach?
Well, that's more or less up to the animals. But the number I want to start with is a couple of goats, 3 pigs, 4 cows, a bull, a mule, and a dozen chickens. This sure is a dandy pin, Jethro.
As soon as Ellie gets back from the Drysdale, she can milk this here goat.
Mr. Drysdale sure has got a nice house, ain't he, Granny?
Yep. Nice house, nice car, nice job. But the evil of drink has sure laid a heavy hand on his heart. Never forget, Ellie, drinking is a curse.
But you take a drink now and then, Granny.
Never more than a thimbleful. Oh, Ellie, you might have to hold Mrs. Drysdale while I spoon my sobering up mash down her.
I'll throw a double scissors and an arm lock on her.
Just so you don't cut off her wind if she can't breathe.
Yes?
Howdy. We've come to see Miss Drysdale.
I'm sorry, madam, but Mrs. Drysdale cannot be disturbed.
Are you her kin?
I'm a butler.
Oh, that must have been her maiden name. You are taking care of her, are you?
I am a butler, madam.
Well, I'm glad to see that her family ain't ashamed to help her.
Whom shall I say called?
Well, this here's Granny, and I'm Ellie Mae. Paul and Jethro would have come too, but they're busy with the cattle.
Very good.
Hold on now. We've come to see Miss Drysdale.
Mrs. Drysdale is indisposed, madam. She is not receiving.
Oh, still sleeping it off, huh? Well, when she comes to, you just spoon half of this down her and then stand back.
Yeah, she'll commence to doing some tall jumping.
Don't bite you. We'll be back later with the goat's milk.
Want me to stay and help you do for Miss Drysdale?
We are managing, thank you.
Are you doing the washing and the cleaning and the cooking for her?
Certainly not.
Oh, just letting it pile up on her, huh?
I am a butler.
Oh,
Want me to haul him out of there and wrestle him down?
kin folks have certain rights. Family comes first.
He sure is proud of that family name, ain't he?
Yeah. You hear him talk, the butlers don't get wet when it rains.
Did you say something, dear? Well, speak up, dear. Can I get you something? Come in.
Beg your pardon, sir. The butler said some people from a ranch brought this for Madame.
From a ranch?
Well, he said they mentioned cattle. They called themselves Granny and Ellie Mae.
The Clampetts. They haven't gone to Palm Springs.
Get him in through that gate. That's the way.
Suey! Hey, hey! Ah!
Get in there.
Ah, get in there, Pig. Get in, Pig. Come on. Get Pig.
That's the way.
Suey!
No, surely not. Marie, tell me I'm hearing things.
You're hearing things, sir. Cows, chickens, pigs, goats.
Never mind.
Anything I can do, sir?
Pray, Marie. Pray.
Yes, sir, Mr. Drysdale. I finally took your advice and put some of my money in stock. How's that goat milk, Ellie?
Just fine, Pa.
You sure is a dandy pen, Mr. Drysdale.
Yeah, good stout fence around outside. Of course, that one across the middle ain't so much. Bulls already jumped it twice, and it ain't even mating season. Got ourselves some mighty fine-looking stock. Of course, they need a little fattening up.
Mr. Drysdale happy to see him?
Granny, he was so happy he couldn't talk. He just kind of hung on a fence and made little gurgling noises in his throat.
Well, that poor man has some joy coming to him.
I'm glad to be able to help him to forget his trouble for a spell.
Here's the goat's milk, Granny.
Oh, good, Ellie. Now, you run that right over to Mrs. Drysdale. That sobering up mash smarts considerable unless you follow it up with fresh goat's milk.
Ellie, Mr. Drysdale ever find his tongue?
Yeah, Pa. Whilst I was milking the goat, I heard him kind of mumbling like he was giving thanks. He says, "Oh, what have I done to deserve this?"
Lord love him. Ain't that pitiful? Hurry, child, now hurry.
You know, Granny, it gives a person a mighty good feeling to help a neighbor.
You betcha. And he needs us, because his wife's kin ain't no help.
Who's that?
That high and mighty Mr. Butler. That's who came to the door when Ellie and me took the mash over. Wouldn't let us see Miss Drysdale.
Well, now, you can't hardly blame him for not wanting folks to see it.
Uncle Jed, the bull jumped that little fence again, so I tied him back over on his side.
Where's Mr. Drysdale? I asked him to come in for some coffee.
It was the funniest thing what happened to him. You know how he was hanging on the fence of the stock pen, kind of gurgling and mumbling happy-like?
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, he points up towards his house and says, "My wife. That's her window." Then he goes tearing off into the bushes like a bear was after him.
She took some mash and he seen her jumping.
Right, Ellie, he's gonna get there with the goat's milk just in time.
Oh, Sonny, Sonny, your mumsy just had the most ghastly dream. I was going to see our new neighbors, the Clampetts, and suddenly this dreadful giant appeared with a huge gun and shot my beautiful fox fur. Isn't that the most dreadful... Claude, what are you eating? Oh, did Ravenswood bring my darling boy some nice fishy scraps? Claude. Claude! Marie, come and get Claude.
What's the matter, dear?
Claude, he's having a seizure or something.
Is something wrong?
Yes, Marie. Open the window.
Yes, let's have some fresh air. No. You take Claude to the doctor. I'll get the window. Well, darling, how do you feel?
Dreadful. My nerves are shattered. Open the window, dear.
Well, it might not be good for you, Margaret.
Oh, don't be silly, Milburn. I need oxygen. Besides, I adore the fragrance of that jasmine that grows on the fence of that tennis court next door. Now, open the window.
All right, dear, but first I have a surprise.
Surprise?
Don't move. I'll be right back.
Granny, that there butler fellow wouldn't let me through that door again. And he wouldn't take this milk, neither.
Why not?
He said he wouldn't touch nothing more from us without it was sterilized.
What's sterilized?
Oh, we had that in school once. That means soaked in alcohol.
Alcohol?
Appears to me like Mr. Drysdale's got two drinkers on his hand.
Mrs. Drysdale must be in terrible shape. Fighting me, scratching and clawing people and everything.
How do you know?
I heard her yelling and screaming clean from upstairs. She says, Marie, Marie, come and get Claude. Sure enough, pretty soon, this poor girl come a-running down yelling. Take me to the doctor. I got Claude.
Family or no family, that woman needs help, and by thunder, she's gonna get it.
Surprise! Surprise!
Milburn, have you taken leave of your senses? You know I'm much too nervous to watch television.
But, darling, the doctors in Boston said your nerves were just fine.
Those Boston doctors. They had the audacity to tell me that I was perfectly healthy. I said, I'm not paying you all that money to tell me I'm healthy. Milburn, I do not want to watch television.
Well, you don't have to watch it, dear. Just listen. There's an exciting Western on.
Weston, Milburn, shut that off and open the window.
I will. Oh, there we are.
Milburn, are you going to open the window or am I?
I am, dear. There, you see, the cattlemen and the sheepmen are fighting now.
Well, if you won't turn it off, I will.
Oh, dear, I do admit that's a very old clock, but I'm sure we can get something better.
That's the window he pointed to right there.
I've got to get some fresh goat's milk up to that woman some way.
I could shinny up the tree and climb right in that window.
Oh, Jethro, it ain't fitting for a man to be in a woman's bedroom.
How about me? No, Ellie. You're too young to handle somebody wrestling in the grip of old John Barleycorn. I got to get up there and have a goat handy to milk ever so often.
I think I got it figured out, Granny.
What?
I'll get a rope, throw it over that limb, hoist you up to the window. Jethro, you get that Mr. Butler away from the front door. Then, Ellie, you take the nanny goat, lead it upstairs to her room for Granny.
All right, Paul. But that little goat ain't gonna do nothing unless it's got that little chicken sitting on his back.
That's all right. Raw egg ain't gonna do Mrs. Drysdale a bit of harm.
Margaret, what are you doing?
Packing. I'm leaving immediately.
Oh, don't leave me. I love you.
I love you too, Milburn. Why don't you come to Boston with me? You haven't seen Sonny for a long time.
I don't understand. Why have you suddenly decided to go back to Boston?
To see those doctors. Let them dare to tell me now I don't have a nervous condition. I'm even having hallucinations. It's wonderful.
Hallucinations?
I just saw a witch fly by that window, and there's a goat in the bathtub with a chicken riding on its back. Oh, you couldn't see them, dear. Only someone with my shattered nervous system. There goes the witch again. Oh, Milburn, I'm the happiest woman in the world. It's marvelous. Wait until those doctors hear this.
Can't get in the attic and she won't open the window. Heist me up again.
Here, Milburn. Let's have a vitamin toast to my coming triumph.
Clampetts. Why, you the prettiest thing I ain't never in all my born days. How'd old mountain goat like me ever get a young'un like you? You're a queen. That's what you are in that shiny dress standing there. You're a queen.
Feel it, Paul. It's slicker than a toad's belly.
I'll be if it ain't. What kind of dress they call that?
This is what you call a ball gown.
A ball gown. Well, you's even catching on to what they's named.
Well, Miss Hathaway, she pinned a piece of paper onto every dress she got me, telling what it was for.
You better tote along the shotgun, keep fellas away.
Oh, no, Paul. That's what I'm going out for, to meet some fellas.
Hallelujah. You know, you're going to find out something I've been saying is the truth. You don't have to dress up in boys' clothes to have fun with boys.
I'm going to keep my promise, Paul. I ain't going to wear nothing but dresses for 3 whole days.
And I'm going to keep my promise, too. If you don't have just as much fun as you did climbing trees and wrestling, you can go back to wearing your pants and shirt.
Goodbye, Paul.
What you doing? Killing ants?
Hey, this place ain't got no ants.
I'll tell you something else it ain't got. That's me. I'm gonna pack up and go home.
Wait a minute. Hold on there. This is home.
Not to me it ain't. And for my part, they can give Beverly Hills back to the Indians. Or whoever else was fool enough to come here in the first place.
Come on, let's go in here and sit down and we'll talk this whole thing over. You just got your back up because the police made us get rid of all our cows and pigs and chickens and stuff.
Well, that didn't help none. But if they don't allow folks to have stock, why have they got that all-fired fancy stock pen down there?
Well, Granny, it turned out that there was something called a tennis court.
What in tarnation is a tennis?
I don't know, but one of these days we'll get us a pair of them and go to raise them out there.
Well, you go to raising them. I'm going back home, where I can get some good things in life, like hog jowls and possum shank.
Now, hold on, Granny. Jethro's out hunting possums right now.
He won't find none. I've been all over these Beverly Hills, and I tell you it ain't easy. Climbing fences and walls and jumping over hedges to get around those cement ponds where there are a lot of half-naked women laying there smearing themselves with oil and yelling at you to get out, get out. I tell you, Jed, this place is full of the laziest, greasiest, unfriendliest mess of people I ever did lay my eyes on.
Here's Jethro. Hi, boy. What'd you get? I got chased by a fellow with a club.
Now, you hear that, Jed? It says Beverly Hillbillies picking on a little boy like Jed. Come on, Jethro, load up the truck and let's head for home.
Hold on. I think I know what's ailing you two. You're just plain old homesick.
Well, I'm sick of this home, I can tell you that.
Yeah, now I got a surprise. I've been kind of saving. I reckon now's good times any to let the cat out of the bag.
We need pigs and chickens, and he gets us a cat.
Now, that ain't the surprise, Granny. The surprise is Pearl's coming out here.
Ma's coming out here?
Yeah, and she's bringing your sister Jethrine.
Hot diggity dog.
Yeah, I wrote her a letter. I said, Pearl, I says, why don't you come out here and bring Jethrine? We got lots of room and plenty to eat, and we sure is a hanker to see you.
Oh, boy. I gotta get us some possum now, because if there's one thing Ma and Jethrine likes, it's grits and possum shanks.
You don't look particular cheered up, Granny.
Jed, you might fool that boy with a story like that, but not me.
What do you mean?
Since when can you write letters?
No, Granny, now wait a minute. Wait a minute. Granny, I didn't write that letter by hand.
Held the pencil betwixt your toes, did you?
No, I wrote it by a new way. The banker's secretary showed me. It's called dictation.
What's dictation?
Well, it's wonderful, Granny. You just talk and she writes it down.
She sure must write fast.
Yeah, with a bad hand, too.
She got a bad hand?
This one, she calls it her shorthand.
I don't care how many letters you dictate, Jed. Pearl ain't a-coming out here. Leastwise, not right now.
Well, sure she is, Granny. She's looking to find a husband for Jethrine.
I'll tell you who Pearl is a-looking to get a husband for. Pearl. And I think she's got her cap set for that oil man that bought your swamp.
Mr. Brewster?
Why, he lives clean over to Tulsa.
Yeah, but pumping oil brings him over to your place. And I'll bet you pigs to polecats that when he shows up, Pearl ain't fur behind.
Of all people, fancy meeting you here. Small world, ain't it?
Yes, it certainly is.
Oh, this here's my daughter, Jethrine. This is Mr. Brewster, dear.
I'm pleased to meet you, young lady.
Hi.
May I give you a hand, Mrs. Bodine?
Oh, thank you. Stay in the buggy, dear.
Careful now. There we are. Well, I see you girls are on your way to a Halloween party.
What kind of party?
Halloween.
What's a Halloween?
You don't celebrate Halloween here in the hills?
Well, I never heard of it. What's it like?
Well, it's an occasion where everyone gets dressed up in their most beautiful clothes.
Oh, these old things, they're just something I threw together myself.
Well, they look like they came from Saks.
Well, they didn't. I made them with store-bought yard goods. Didn't I, Jeffrey? Yes, sir.
Well, what brings you girls here on this beautiful Indian summer day?
Following you. we was headed this way anyway. I promised to keep an eye on the old home place for Cousin Jed, remember?
Oh, I hope he won't mind that I had a telephone put in the cabin. You see, we're using it as a sort of a field office.
Oh, he won't mind. Especially if you would show it to me and I could see for myself that there was no damage done to the cabin.
Well, that's quite all right. Come along, huh?
Stay in the buggy, dear.
Well, perhaps you'd like to stretch your legs.
They're long enough now. You know, Jeffrey's awful tall for age. She takes after her father. Her late father, that is. I'm a widow.
Yes, I believe you told me.
Oh, that's right. That's when you told me you was a widower.
Yes.
You, still are, I suppose.
A widower? No, yes.
Stay in the buggy, dear.
Look at that fruit there. Did you ever in your whole born days ever see anything as pretty as that fruit? Don't spoil neither.
Don't taste neither.
Oh, now.
Jethro ate a whole bunch of them grapes. 2 apples, a pear, and a whole handful of strawberries. And he said there wasn't one bit of juice in the whole kit and caboodle of them. He said it was dry as wax.
His is mighty dry and gummy. Maybe you ain't supposed to eat this fruit.
That's the trouble with this miserable place. You ain't supposed to do nothing. You ain't supposed to have cows or pigs or chickens. You ain't supposed to fire up the still and make a little moonshine whiskey. Answer me, what can you do in this Beverly Hills?
Well, you can do lots of things, Granny. Things you couldn't do back home.
Name one.
Well, you can call up your friends on the telephone.
No, you can't.
Why not?
'Cause we ain't got no friends, that's why not. There ain't been one neighbor come a-calling on us since we moved in here.
Oh, so that's what's ailing you. Nobody's been coming to call. Well, now you gotta remember what Pearl said. This here is Beverly Hills where the movie stars live.
What's that got to do with it? What's that got to do with being friendly?
Nothing, I just thought it might sidetrack you.
Well, it didn't. Movie stars are people just like us, ain't they?
Yes, certainly prettier. Wouldn't it be worth waiting for if one of these days they come a knock on the door and we go to answer it, we open up the door and standing there would be Mary Pickford.
Mary Pickford?
Yeah, with the golden curls hanging down her back and her pretty little rosebud mouth saying friendly things like, howdy there, I'm Mary Pickford. Oh, you'd say to that?
I'd say, who's Mary Pickford? That's what I
Granny, she's America's sweetheart. You know that movie house where Pearl plays Piano on Saturday nights?
I heard of it.
Well, she says little old Mary is everybody's favorite.
Well, tell me this. if Mary Pickford moved in that little cabin down the creek from us back home, what would we do?
Oh, we'd have gone calling and brought her over a mess of pone and skinned possum.
Yeah. And has Mary Pickford brought us a mess of pone and skinned possum? No, she ain't.
You gotta remember, Granny, she probably spent 4 or 5 hours a day just fooling with and combing that beautiful curls hanging clear down
Uncle Jan!
Well, hello, Jethro. What'd you get this time?
I got arrested. Yeah. Policeman, he took my gun away. He said they don't allow hunting in Beverly Hills.
That does it. That does it.
Then he pointed to old Duke here. He said that dog had his rabies shot. And I said, no, sir, that dog ain't had nothing shot. I'm careful with a gun. What'd he say? He said, oh, wise guy, huh? So he put Duke and me in his police car. But we jumped out and run. Oh, is Ma and Jethreen here yet?
No, and they ain't a-coming. Now, if you want to see your ma and your sis, you pack up that truck, and you and me will skedaddle back home where folks is friendly.
Now, Granny. Oh, God, if she ain't the muleyest little woman. Granny, now, just a minute. Now, Granny, will you just let me say one thing?
Well, you be quick, because I got a long trip ahead of me.
Granny, I know it ain't been easy for you out here. New things is always vexing, especially at your age. But I'm bound and determined to keep this family together. And if you go back to the hills, we's all going with you. I'm asking you, please, to stay. Not for my sake, but for Ellie Mae. Granny, what this place has done for her is a plain miracle. Why, that wild Injun has become a grand lady. I wish you could have seen her go out that door looking like a queen in a picture book. I tell you, I just wanted to sit down and bawl, the way you done when I married her ma. Now, she's just... She's out there now. Now, just wait, Granny. Wait till you see. In here, Ellie Mae.
Huh? You sure was right. Oh, Hogan, you don't have to wear boys' clothes to have fun with boys.
Mae, you promised me you wouldn't wrestle.
I ain't been wrestling.
Then what have you been doing in your ball gown?
Doing what I'm supposed to do, playing ball. Oh, I made 2 touchdowns and kicked 3 field goals.
This is the phone I was telling you about. It's called a field telephone. Now, with this, I can communicate directly with the men working at the drilling site.
Oh. Any young men down there?
Oh, yes.
Any unmarried young men?
I'm sure there are.
Any tall, unmarried young men?
Well, they're probably all sizes.
Yeah. Suppose it gets pretty lonesome working down there.
Well, it's very likely. This is rather an isolated area.
Any specially tall, specially lonesome, unmarried young ones?
I don't think I can call any by name, no.
Uh-huh. Well, I was just wondering.
Excuse me, ma'am. Could you tell me where the oil drillers are working today? Well, now. What have we here? Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, and pretty, too. Ooh-wee. I bet you're an armful of mama. I mean it, honey. I like big girls. You just do things to me. You carry me away.
All right.
Hey, what's going on here?
Oh, there you are. What are you doing?
I'm figuring. And I figure best when I'm fishing.
Ain't no fish in there.
I ain't fishing for fish. I'm fishing for figuring.
Hey, what kind of figuring you fishing for?
I'm fishing to figure how I can get home.
Granny, I've been doing some figuring, too. You know, I think I got it figured out how come the neighbors ain't come to visit us.
I'm listening.
Well, I got it figured. Out here in Beverly Hills, instead of them coming to see us, we go to see them.
How come?
Oh, I don't know how come. That's just the way I got it figured.
Mighty convenient figuring.
Granny, it wouldn't do no harm and to give it a try. A lot of things is different out here.
Well, I'll fish on it for a spell.
Well, let's see now. Which neighbor shall we call on first? Mr. Drysdale's off in Boston with his missus, so let's go this way.
If you ask me, let's go back that way.
Now, Granny, you promise. Come on, everybody, let's go.
You reckon they'll give us a mess of pone or something, Paul?
Or maybe some salted down possum.
Probably so lie on us.
I'm not expecting anyone, Agnes.
Oh, it's probably just some children playing trick-or-treat, ma'am.
Hi, ma'am. We's the Clampetts.
You got something for us?
Yes, no.
Aren't you rather big for this?
Yes, ma'am, we are. In fact, I don't see how anybody gets through that little door.
Just a minute. Come in. Come in and set a spell, as you folks say up in the hill.
Well, thank you. We got a lot of calls to make. This here is Granny.
Howdy.
Hello?
I'm my daughter, Ellie.
Oh.
My nephew, Jethro.
Oh.
And I'm Jed.
Hello, Jed. I'm Agnes. Just call me Aggie.
Mighty nice place you got here, Aggie.
Oh, shucks, 'tain't nothing but a heap of bricks, but we call it home.
Well, sure is nice to meet up with you.
Oh, now wait just a minute. I got something for you. Wait a second. Here you go, Granny, and Ellie, that's you, and Jethro, you and Jeff. There.
Yeah, thank you. That's mighty neighborly of you. And you must come and see us sometime.
Yeah, we'll go hunting together.
Hey, Aggie, you like to play football?
Love it.
Well, there's a whole bunch of fellas that plays in the pasture down the way a piece. And they'd like it just fine if I could bring some more girls along.
Now, don't forget.
Please, can we go out now? Not yet, children. Not till it gets dark.
Ain't that the most pitiful thing?
Heart-rendering. Just heart-rendering.
Nice-looking woman. Friendly as you please. But them young'uns is the homeliest I ever see.
Wonder she didn't want to come a-calling on us.
Yeah. Reckon I'd stay home, too, if my kids looked like that.
Kid, I ain't never gonna say a bad word about nobody.
I know what you mean. Diggies, every house we went to, they was nice to us, wasn't they?
Sure was, Dad.
Hey, listen, everybody. I got an idea. Let's call up Cousin Pearl and tell her to come on out here.
Uncle Jed, you can't call Ma on the telephone.
Drysdale said we could call anybody we had a mind to.
Well, Ma, she ain't got no telephone at home.
Don't matter. She ain't never home nohow.
The way I look at it, you can't never tell what you can do until you try.
Don't forget to spin the wheel.
Howdy, ma'am. I want to talk to Pearl Bodine back in Oxford.
That's right, operator. J.D. Clampett in Beverly Hills.
Jed's sure gonna be surprised to hear me talking at him on this thing.
Oh, they're ready to make the connection.
Hello? Dad! That you, Dad?
You betcha it is.
Hello, Pearl, you old rascal. What you doing down there?
Huh, there ain't Pearl. This here's Ellie.
Jethro talk in a minute, but first I want to say something. You gotta come out here to Beverly Hills and bring Jethrine. If she can't get a husband out here, there ain't no hope. You ain't never seen so many homely young'uns in all your born days.